Here's how to get rid of the resentment that you hold against your partner inside your romantic relationship. I'm Dr. Sarah Hensley. I'm a specialized social psychologist, and I've been studying the science of attachment inside romantic relationships for nearly 20 years. And this is another edition of Carline Relationship Advice. You're not going to like what I have to say, but it is the dang truth. You are not holding resentment because of your partner's poor behavior. You are holding resentment because you have had a lack of effective boundaries around their behavior. You feel helpless when it comes to their behavior because you know if you really held boundaries and you stood on business with them, there's a risk. It's a real risk that you might be left holding the bag. They might not respond. You might actually face rejection, and that means you'd have to move through the pain of detachment, and you don't feel like that's possible. You feel like that's too scary. You say, but I've held boundaries. I've told them a million times what I need or to stop doing XYZ. We've had a million conversations around it. Words don't work, my friend. They don't work. You have to show boundaries in your actions. And we have 3 levels of boundaries. Level 1 is taking the break from the situation. Level 2 is taking the break from the relationship without fully separating. Level 3 is actively pursuing leaving the relationship, like you're at the divorce attorney's office. So a level 1 boundary might be something like this. Maybe your partner gets really reactive during conflict and they raise their voice and they use curse words. And you're like, I can't deal with this anymore because every time we try to have a disagreement, they blow up. And so I can't be around that. It just shuts me down. It makes me feel too overwhelmed. Rightfully so. That's verbal abuse and you shouldn't have to put up with that. So instead of saying, please stop yelling at me, you say, hold on a second. This is turned disrespectful and I won't participate in disrespect. When you are ready to, boundaries have rules of re-engagement. Lower your voice, stop cursing. I will be happy to resume the conversation. If they never come back around and finish the conversation, what do? You say, hey, there's still some conflict between us that hasn't been resolved. And until it's resolved, I'm going to be in my boundary space. And my boundary space looks like. And you tell them what you can no longer do for them while you are in your boundary space caring for you. And if you have to bump up to a level 2 boundary, you move out of the bedroom. You sleep in a separate place. You stop pouring into them completely. You only have conversations around absolute necessity, but you make the rules of re-engagement very clear. You want access to me? Here are my needs. You can either meet them or not. If you don't, in my level 2 boundary, I'm going to start contemplating my exit strategy here. And you have to be real about that. You have to stand on business with it. Because what's the point of a relationship if someone is not meeting your needs and treating you like crap? There's no point. You're just sitting there miserable. You need to earn your own attachment security so that you know when you're standing on business there that you will be able to move through it effectively if they don't budge. Because the purpose of a boundary is to keep you safe. It's to stand up for you, not to try to convince someone to change their behavior. Your boundary space is going to be all about pouring into your nervous system, around your self-care, around making sure that you can show up as the best version of you. And if your attachment anxiety is too high for that, that's your work to do. If this was interesting to you, please see me at my website, thelovedoc.com.